Good morning, students. So we'll move on to the next topic, that is six TISC. We call it as. Okay. So in previous lecture, we were discussing regarding optimizing IP for IoT exactly. So during that, we had a complete discussion regarding 6LoWPAN to 6LoW. Okay, how we can convert the IPv6 version package for IPv4 compatible. Okay, so for that we go for like header shrinking, okay, then fragmentation, then later after like fragmenting a complete piece of information into number of pieces. Okay, so we'll be going for mesh addressing, like how many times we need to forward the same packet, okay, piece of packets for same from same source to same destination exactly. Okay, so when it comes for bit advanced kind, okay, so we should discuss one more architecture, or like how we can deal with these kind of uh, constraint devices, or how we can implement the concepts of fully stack IP. Okay, so 6 disk we are having a best example over here. Okay, so we'll be seeing like how we can embed this like the protocol conversion or adaptation layer, okay, for our IP stack. Okay, we'll see that. Okay, the publication of the IEEE 802.15.4 physical and data link layer specifications, okay, followed by IEEE 802.15.4e amendments, has opened the path to standardized deterministic communications over wireless network exactly. Okay, so in module number 2 we had a complete in deep discussion regarding 15.4, okay, which was a discussion regarding physical layer and the data link layer. Okay, and in the same topic, we in the same module we already also discussed like 4e amendment. Okay, 4e amendment, which was for the MAC layer exactly. Okay, so which is providing a standardized communication kind of like a transition, okay, between source and destination. Okay, so here we can go for fully wireless kind of a network. Okay, so that was the main intention, like why we need to go for 15.4, okay, and why we need to go for 15.4e exactly. Some kind of changes we did in 15.4e, okay, according to the MAC layer. Okay, so we'll see like using these two, okay, using these two, the enhancement basic version and the enhancement, okay, how we can implement the concepts of fully supportable IPv6 network, okay, for 802.15.4 exactly. Okay, so IEEE 802.15.4e time slotted channel hopping, okay, TSCH we call it as time slotted channel hopping is an add on to a media access control MAC. Okay, that is what the layer portion of the IEEE 802.15.4 standard exactly. Okay, so that is the enhancement what we can find. So devices implementing IEEE 802.15.4e TISC communicate by following a time division multiple access TDMA schedule. Okay, so they are going to work based on like time division multiple access fashion exactly. An allocation of a unit of bandwidth or time slot is scheduled between neighbor nodes. Okay, so the bandwidth allocation or the time slot, whatever we are having for the communication, so that will be scheduled between the neighbors. Okay, like if you are having one hop, okay, next hop, okay, whatever we have between that, we'll be having this kind of system or this kind of phenomena exactly. So this allows the programming of predictable transmission and enable deterministic, okay, so industrial type application exactly. So obvious it will be helpful for the program because we can predict. Okay, see, if you are at the place called as a B, and if you want to have a communication between next, okay, so we'll be having two options, right? One will be A backward, one will be forward C exactly. Is it right? Such type exactly. Okay, so it will help us to predict which will be the next hop exactly, because hop by hop like means device to device we need to go for transition. Okay, the standardized IPv6 over the TISC mode of IEEE 802.15.4e, the TISC working group was formed. Okay, so TSCH what we had, okay, for that we are having an enhancement, we are calling it a TISCH working group. We'll see that what is this TISCH. Okay, this working group worked on the architecture, information model, and minimal 6 disk configuration. An important element specified by the 6 TISC working group is 6 top. A sublayer, very careful, observe it very careful. A sublayer that glues together the MAC layer and 6-LoWPAN adaptation layer. Okay, see here, we are going to involve or we are going to include the concepts of 6-LoWPAN for the MAC layer. So we are having a base concept of what 802.15.4 or 4E exactly, right, which is fully supported for IPv4. Okay, but if you are using a adaptation layer of 6-LoWPAN, then easily we can have a IP fully stacked network with IPv6 exactly. Okay, but here we need to go for an adaptation layer. Instead of that, okay, if you are using this 6 disk concept, okay, then we are having a inbuilt configuration for the MAC layer who can support for 6-LoWPAN exactly. So this sublayer provides commands to the upper network layer. Observe it very careful. So this sublayer provides a commands to the upper network layer. Okay, in return these commands enable functionalities including network layer routing decisions, configuration and control procedures for 6 schedule management. So these are the few advantages of using these kind of commands exactly. The IEEE 802.15.4e standard defines a time slot structure. Okay, so it defines a time slot structure, but it does not, okay, mandate a schedule algorithm for how the time slots are utilized. So this is left to higher level protocols like 6DISC. Okay, scheduling is critical because it can affect throughput, latency and power consumption. So these are the few drawbacks, okay, what we can observe over here. Okay, so very careful. Okay. Next, so this is what the location of 6 top sublayer. Okay, just observe this. It's a very like a very delicate part. It is here IPv6, which is having a enabled with 6-LoWPAN. Okay, so it is having an enability over here, but 6 top what we have, okay, it is trying to glue the concepts of 6-LoWPAN with the MAC layer exactly. Okay, so the 6 top is acting like a intermediate between the IPv6 and your MAC layer exactly. So schedules in 6 disk are broken down into cells. Okay, so very careful. So we are calling it as cells. Okay, schedule based communication we are going to opt. Okay, but that will be broken down into a cells. A cell is simply a single element in the TISC schedule, okay, that can be allocated for unidirectional or bidirectional communications between specific nodes. Okay, nodes only transmit when the schedule dictates that their cell is open for communication. Okay, so whenever there is a like while reading, okay, we'll be continuously observing that whether the channels are open for the communication or not. Okay, if that is the case, if they are open, means they are ready to have a communication exactly, right? Then only we'll be having the allocation for transmission between the cells exactly. Okay, then we need to go for schedule management mechanisms. Okay, in case of 6 disk architecture, like it is defined in 4 different types of schedule based management mechanisms over here. First one we call it as a static scheduling. Okay, all nodes in the constrained network share a fixed schedule. Okay, so everybody will be sharing the fixed schedule. Okay, example like whether it is a time based, whether it is a bandwidth based or whatever it is. Okay, so everybody will be using the same kind of scheduling exactly. Okay, cells are shared. Okay, and nodes content for slot access in a slotted aloha manner. Okay, we'll see that what is the slotted aloha manner. It is slotted aloha is a basic protocol for sending data using time slot, okay, boundaries, okay, when communicating over a shared media. Whenever communicating over shared media, okay, so it is like how we can content or how we can decide who should use the channel properly or who should utilize the resources properly or successfully, okay, for time being. Okay, so static scheduling is a simple scheduling mechanism that can be used upon initial implementation or as a fallback in the case of network malfunction. Okay, so these are the few concepts of static scheduling. Okay, like rest of the 3 scheduling we need to go for that. Okay, neighbor to neighbor scheduling. A scheduling is established that, okay, correlates, sorry, okay, neighbor to neighbor scheduling. Okay, so a scheduling is established that correlates with the observed number of transmission between nodes. Okay, cells in this schedule can be added or deleted as traffic requirements and bandwidth needs changes exactly. So this is regarding the neighbor to neighbor scheduling exactly. So it will be between the cells, okay, between the cells, okay, who are next to one another, okay. Then remote monitoring and scheduling management. So here time slots and other resource allocation are handled by a management entity, okay, that can be multiple hops away. Okay, the scheduling mechanism leverages 6-stop and even cop in some scenarios. Okay, so this was regarding remote monitoring and scheduling management. Then hop by hop scheduling, a node reserves a path, okay, to a destination node, okay, multiple hops away by requesting the allocation of cell in a schedule at each intermediate node in the path. Okay, so this was regarding hop by hop scheduling. So these were the different scheduling mechanism we are having. In addition to scheduling mechanism functions, the 6-disk architecture also defines three different, okay, fragment forwarding models exactly. The forwarding is the operation performed on each packet by a node, okay, that allows it to be delivered to the next hop or an upper layer protocol exactly. So forward, okay, like how we can go for forwarding the package from one hop to another or from one layer to another. It may be forwarding the package from higher level to lower level to higher level, doesn't matter exactly. Okay, there are three varieties of forwarding mechanism. We call it as track forwarding. Okay, the first one is track forwarding. The simplest version we are using is TF. So this is the simplest and fastest forwarding model. Okay, a track in this model is a unidirectional path between a source and a destination. Remember, unidirectional path between source and destination. So this track is constructed by pairing bundles of receive cells in a schedule, okay, with a bundle of receive cell set to transmit. Okay, so it is we can call it as a static, okay, like between, like who are all senders are available, who are all receivers are available. Between that we'll be having unidirectional path. Okay, so if you are having one sender, multiple receiver, then also it will be unidirectional. If you are having multiple sender and multiple receiver, then also we'll be having like static kind of like cells, okay, which will be arranged in the path exactly. Okay, then fragment forwarding, okay, the name only indicates we need to forward the fragment like pieces of packets exactly. So this model takes advantages of 6-lopan fragmenting to build a layer 2 forwarding table. Okay, with FF means fragment forwarding, a mechanism is defined, okay, where the first fragment is routed based on IPv6 header present. Okay, so first packet will be forwarding based on IPv6. Okay, the 6-lopan sublayer learns the next hop select, okay, for of this first fragment. Okay, so how we are selecting, right, okay, the destination or the like a routing path from the first transmission. Okay, from that we will be learning for the rest of all, which is then applied for all the subsequent fragment of that packet exactly. So if you are having 10 different fragments of packets which should be transferred from the source to destination, first what we do, okay, using a 6-lopan IPv6 header, okay, so we'll be transferring the first fragment. Okay, so based on that we'll be forwarding the rest of all, means it's just like a trial. Okay, like from that we'll be understanding what all the consequences may face, okay, in this particular channel and all. Okay, by observing that we'll be going for the next exactly. Okay, then IPv6 forwarding, like 6F we call it as. Okay, so this model forwards traffic based on IPv6 routing table. Okay, then flows of packets should be prioritized by traditional quality of service. Okay, and RED we call it as random early detection operation. So this is what regarding the 6-disk architecture. So here we discussed like forwarding models. Okay, we discussed regarding the forwarding model, and later we discussed few, okay, scheduling principles exactly. Okay, static scheduling, then hop by hop, okay, neighbor, okay, search time, and we also discussed like what type of concepts are involved in this 6-disk. Okay, so we can call it as an enhancement. Okay, we can call it as an enhancement for 6-lopan. Okay, so what all the drawbacks like adaptation layer we need to use, right? Okay, instead of that we can go for this 6-disk exactly. Okay, fine. So this is it for now, students. So we'll meet with the next lecture in next class. Thank you.